Hello, my dear friends. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me today. This little corner is for everyone, no matter your age or where you're from. Maybe you're listening in the quiet of your room. Maybe you're resting after a long day. Or maybe you're just looking for a soft, comforting tale. Well, you're in the right place. Let's tuck ourselves into a warm blanket of words, sip on something cozy like tea with honey or cocoa with cream, and step into a gentle story together. Now, let me take you to a small village nestled at the edge of rolling green hills. The houses here are simple cottages, each with a little garden out front. Stone fences are covered in moss, and every window seems to glow softly in the evenings. Birds sing from the hedges, and the air always smells faintly of wildflowers and wood smoke. It is the kind of place where life moves slowly, peacefully, like a brook flowing gently over smooth stones. In this village lived Cassie, a young woman with kind brown eyes and a smile that always seemed to carry sunshine. She loved to spend her mornings walking along the winding paths, gathering fresh flowers to place in vases around her home. Cassie's cottage sat at the end of the lane, surrounded by rose bushes and lilac trees that leaned close to the windows as if whispering secrets. Not far from her lived Betty, a slightly older woman with silver streaks in her soft hair and a laugh that could brighten anyone's mood. Betty loved her vegetable garden rows of cabbages, carrots, and beans that looked so tidy and proud under her care. Children often came by her fence to ask for strawberries, and she never failed to give them a handful with a wink. Though Cassie and Betty were neighbors, they had only shared polite greetings until one summer morning, when something quite simple and lovely happened. Cassie had tied a white ribbon to her basket handle before heading out to gather herbs. As she passed by Betty's cottage, a soft breeze lifted the ribbon and carried it right into Betty's garden, where it landed gracefully across a bed of lavender. Betty picked up the ribbon, smiling at its brightness against the purple blooms. She waved at Cassie and said, "Looks like the wind has delivered me a gift." Cassie laughed, cheeks a little pink, and replied, "It's yours, if you'd like it." A ribbon always looks prettier when shared, and in that quiet, gentle exchange, something new began. A thread of friendship, light as that ribbon itself, tied them together. So let's pause here, my friends. We've met Cassie and Betty, we felt the soft air of the village, and we've seen the beginning of something beautiful. In the next part, we'll step deeper into their story, watching how this simple white ribbon grows into something more than either of them expected. Hello again, dear ones. Are you comfortable? Perhaps you've refilled your tea, or maybe you've leaned back into a cozy chair. Wherever you are, I'm glad you've come back, because now our story is ready to bloom a little more. Cassie and Betty became fast friends after that ribbon found its way into Betty's lavender. They discovered that their hearts fit together like puzzle pieces. Cassie's energy and warmth matched perfectly with Betty's calm and gentle wisdom. Soon it became their habit to meet every afternoon in Betty's garden, where they would share small treats, stories, and laughter. Picture the two of them there, the wooden bench beneath an apple tree, sunlight slipping through the leaves in golden dapples, bees buzzing lazily over the blossoms. On the bench sat a basket of cookies Cassie had baked, soft, buttery ones with a sprinkle of sugar that sparkled like little stars. Betty would bring her best teapot, pouring steaming chamomile tea into 2 cups, painted with tiny blue flowers. They spoke of everything and nothing. Cassie told Betty about her dreams of painting landscapes, of capturing the wildflower fields in brushstrokes. Betty told Cassie about her childhood summers, how she once raced barefoot along the same hills Cassie loved to wander now. Sometimes they didn't speak at all, simply sitting in comfortable silence, listening to the wind weave through the tall grass. One afternoon, Betty handed Cassie the white ribbon she had kept since that first meeting. "This ribbon," she said softly, "reminds me that friendship can arrive like the wind, unexpected and light, but strong enough to hold." Cassie tied it gently around her wrist, smiling at the simple beauty of the moment. From then on, the white ribbon became their little symbol. Sometimes Cassie would tie it around a bouquet she left at Betty's door. Other times, Betty would use it to wrap a loaf of warm bread before giving it to Cassie. The ribbon traveled back and forth, carrying kindness with it like a secret message only the two of them understood. The whole village began to notice the closeness between the two. People would smile seeing Cassie and Betty walking arm in arm down the lane, ribbon fluttering somewhere among their baskets or clothes. Children called them the ribbon friends, and even the birds seemed to sing brighter when they passed. It was a simple thing, this friendship, but it wrapped their days in joy, and in its simplicity, it felt magical, like a quiet blessing resting on their little village. So now, my friends, as we leave Cassie and Betty in their peaceful garden, think about the gentle ways friendships can grow. A smile, a ribbon, a shared cup of tea. That's all it takes to make life a little brighter. And in the next part, we'll see just how this friendship carries on, bringing light and comfort, and how it leaves us with a heart full of warmth. Welcome back, dear friends. This is our final chapter, and I'm so glad you've stayed with me on this gentle journey. Let's finish the story of Cassie, Betty, and the white ribbon, wrapping it up like a gift tied with love. Seasons passed in their little village, painting the world with shifting colors. Spring brought daffodils and cherry blossoms. Summer filled the gardens with buzzing bees. Autumn laid golden leaves along the cobblestone paths. And winter wrapped everything in soft, white snow. Through it all, Cassie and Betty's friendship only grew stronger. One crisp autumn day, they sat together by the fire in Cassie's cottage. The white ribbon was tied neatly around a small vase holding dried lavender. The air smelled of cinnamon tea and baked apples. Betty looked at Cassie with her gentle, thoughtful eyes and said, "One day, my dear, when you look at this ribbon, I want you to remember that every kindness you give returns to you. This ribbon is our promise to keep giving light, no matter how the seasons change." Cassie nodded, her heart glowing with quiet gratitude. "And I'll carry that promise always," she replied. Years later, long after the ribbon had grown soft from passing between them so many times, the whole village knew it as a symbol of comfort. When someone was feeling lonely, Cassie would tie the ribbon to a little gift and leave it at their doorstep. Sometimes Betty would place it around a jar of honey for a neighbor who had fallen ill. Soon, the white ribbon was no longer just theirs, it had become part of the village itself, carrying with it the spirit of kindness and gentle care. And isn't that the beauty of friendship? It starts with two hearts but spreads to many, like ripples in a quiet pond. The ribbon that once blew into Betty's lavender became a thread weaving the whole village closer together. So, my dear listeners, as we close our story tonight, I hope you carry this ribbon in your heart too. May it remind you of the simple joys, a shared smile, a warm cup of tea, a kind word at the right time. May it remind you that friendship, no matter how small it begins, can brighten the world. Thank you for sitting with me, for walking through this cozy village, and for meeting Cassie and Betty. If you enjoyed this tale, don't forget to come back again. There will always be another story waiting for you here, warm and gentle, like an old friend. Until next time, take care, stay cozy, and may your days always be tied together with ribbons of kindness.